LP came back, Mike said, and filling in for Chester Bennington, all of... Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Bees, and today we're seemingly tying a bow, concluding a certain chapter of our journey here on the channel. Way back towards the beginning of my channel, I had started the Linkin Park reaction series, and I'll be honest with you folks, I haven't been paying as much attention to revisiting this series as I probably should have, so that's all on me here. I'll be honest with you, a lot of that had to do with a couple things. So one, the last album, the next album that we had to get to, the one that we're reacting to today, was going to be a sad one for me. And I knew that coming into it, right? So, you know, I won't bury the lead anymore. Today we are reacting to One More Light by Linkin Park, and this is the last studio album with Chester. I didn't want to get to this one because there's the sadness there. Also, this isn't like necessarily like one of their classic albums, so to speak, but I knew it was going to be important for it, and I didn't want that to end. You know, I knew Chester had passed. I wasn't a Linkin Park fan when Chester had passed, but since then, I've really come to like this group a lot. So this one was going to be bittersweet. The other reason why I didn't want to do this album is because I want to do From Zero so bad. So this video is being recorded on the 10th of December, right? On the 10th of December, 2025, and in January 2026, we will be reacting to From Zero at some point because I want to get to a lot of these albums that have been nominated for Grammys in whatever respective category that they're in. So I figured that would be a perfect way for me to finally get to that album. And if we got to that album, we couldn't just skip this, right? We couldn't just skip it. As far as where we've come here on our journey, our last stop was The Hunting Party, which was, I mean, wow. It was very high energy, a lot harder than, well, I guess maybe a lot of the other albums have been on the whole. Even their first two records, I didn't think were as hard and as balls to the wall as I thought The Hunting Party was. And I think I understood after sitting with that album in particular for a little bit longer after the fact. I understand why. You know, people come to Linkin Park because they're so dynamic, because they can hit those ballads, because they can hit those really emotional segments and really draw you in a little bit more. And that just wasn't the album that Hunting Party was. But here in the chat today, before we started the reaction, people were saying that this one's might be a little bit slower here. And knowing that this is Chester's last album, who knows what waterworks start from my eyes. But we'll see. I mean, this album's only 35 minutes long. It's going to be a quick in and out, but I think I'm in the mood for a little bit softer Linkin Park, as long as it's well mixed. I'm looking at you, living things. But nevertheless, please do let me know your thoughts on my thoughts as we go through this album. If you ever want to join one of our live streams, make sure you click one of the links down in the description. And if you want to support the channel, by the way, the best way to do that is just liking and subscribing. Maybe even share this video, show it to your mom. I call that out as a call to action often. But if you want to do so a little bit more directly, go ahead and check out the link for my Patreon, where you can get reactions like this before they come out on YouTube and unedited for just $1 a month. And a few other tiers where I upload content that nobody seems to watch, but I'm going to make it anyway because it's for you. But only 10 songs, 35 minutes, 22 seconds. Let's dive all the way in. This is Nobody Can Save Me.
I'm dancing with my demons. I'm hanging off the edge. Wide awake now. You tell me it's alright. Tell me I'm forgiven tonight. But nobody can save me, 'cause nobody can save
fuck was this? I know you're probably already typing down in the comments, but Jerry B's, they've already gone electronic before. We've seen them do this. Fuck that. We haven't seen them do this. This is so far out of left field for them, especially after the hunting party. A really simple, stripped down pop song. You know, people are saying like, oh, this gets overhated for what? I can see you're a fan of like Giving Up, right? Meteora, Hybrid Theory, any of this fucking, like, you don't go from Paper Cut to this easily. I can see how fans could be inert to moving to this kind of sound. But for me, who just wants to hear a new album, to see a band shut up, to see a band go in a different direction, this is really quite something. No frills, but sounds incredible. I mean, his voice sounds incredible. Every other instrument and sound here sounds just very clean. But I'm already starting to get that feeling, right, of like, God damn it, because nobody can save me. I'm chasing out the darkness inside. Been searching somewhere out there for what's been missing right here, you know. And I've said, you know, at the beginning of the Linkin Park journey, you know, that some of the lyrics didn't hit me as much. They did on Minutes to Midnight. That was one record where they really hit me quite hard, and I was able to get a lot of the themes out. With this more simplistic composition, because let's be honest with you, in comparison to a lot of Linkin Park's discography, this is a very simple composition. It's in and out. Is it in a major key? Just like straight up like pop song. I mean that's what this was. Weird. I like it that it's different, but it is weird. I'm like, what the hell is this? We do have an ad starting here in a second, so we can kind of just talk about whatever. Is it? I mean, I'm getting happiness out of this, so that's why I say major key. It could be my I don't know theory like that. I don't have perfect pitch, so somebody maybe a little bit more learned would be able to let me know. Bit of Whiplash from Hunting Party. You're telling me, man.
So say goodbye and hit the road.
Good goodbye.
Pack it up and disappear. You better have some plans.
What the fuck? What is that?
Live from the rhythm, it's something wild, venomous. Enemies trying to read me, you're all looking highly illiterate. Blind ain't forgetting, if I'm in the mix, you won't find an equivalent. Where you from?
So say goodbye and hit the road. Pack it up and disappear. You better have some place to go, 'cause you can't come back around here. Goodbye.
Woo! Goodbye, good riddance. A period is after every sentence. Did my time with my cellmate. Maxed out, so now we finished. Every day was like a hell day. Every night was like a hailstorm.
Yo, let me say goodbye to my demons. Let me say goodbye to my past life. Let me say goodbye to the darkness. Tell them that I'd rather be here in the starlight. Tell them that I'll tell my kings we can't. Man, and we're linking things in parks. Now I got a tune with Linkin Park. Like goodbye to my old hoes. Goodbye to the cold roads. I can't die from my postcode. Young little Mike from the go.
You better have some place to go, 'cause you can't come back around here. Goodbye.
So, yeah, I forgot the proper attribution there. So this is Good Goodbye featuring Pusha T and Stormzy, who I'm assuming is from the UK, with the flow there. There's a lot of lyrics in a lot of these songs. None of them are better than the following. We're Lincoln Tings in Parks. Now we got a tune with Linkin Park. Breaking news. That is the best lyric of all time. As far as how this album is rolling along, they've established seemingly so far the soundscape for this particular section of the album. You know, the sound Let's see if it carries on through the broader body of work here. But, Linkin Park, I mean, from the very beginning has been on the rap thing. So you bring in guys to help you out with that. And gotta say, Mike's flow here, he seems like very angry and sassy. He's not doing it as maybe as straight as I've complained that he's done it in the past, where I think in my first video, it's like, it's getting really dark and I'm walking in the park, right? Just like very simple, like basic end rhymes. But here I'm like, who, like, is this Mike? Like, it doesn't necessarily sound like Mike. The vocal mixing is absolutely fantastic on both of these songs so far. But, like they're doing like that little like chipmunk voice that's just reminding me of Thunder by Imagine Dragons, which maybe that was like utilized a lot like back in the mid to late 2000s, and that's probably what it was, right? 2010s rather. I don't know if I like this or I'm just confused. It is the good thing about Linkin Park is that they have established themselves to hit so many different corners of genre of just all genres, right? So at Hunting Party, they leaned into one sound more than the other, and I think this is beginning to kind of start a trend where this is the sound for this album. It's like everything that's come before this has kind of been a culmination of all these different sounds, and it's all very chaotic. This is, the rap section. This is the metal section. This is the punk section, whatever it is. But this is like the pop electronic rap album, at least so far. Linkin Park is an album band. I do give them credit a lot of the time for how an album kind of progresses, song placement, pacing, all that kind of stuff. Not my favorite at all, but interesting to hear the sound coming out of them. When in doubt, rhyme Linking and Lincoln, and Parks with Parks. Talking to myself.
There's no getting through to you. The lights are on, but nobody's home. You say I can't understand all the walls that you keep building, all this time that I spent chasing, all the ways that I know, yeah, I know, yeah, I know. I'm just talking to myself. Ooh, talking to myself. Ooh, talking to myself. All the walls that you keep building, all this time that I spent chasing, all the ways that I can whisper, I can yell, but I know, yeah, I know, yeah, I know. I'm just talking to myself. Ooh, talking to all the walls that you keep building, all this time that I spent chasing, all the way. The truth is, you turn into someone else. No, yeah, I know, yeah, I know. Talking to myself.
It's catchy, danceable hooks with like a straightforward composition. Like in terms of the instrumentals, in terms of the composition, they're perfectly fine. But knowing that they can go so many different ways, I do have to say I feel as though like they're holding something back, because a lot of these songs are starting out like they're club remixes. But then I just don't think that the choruses give a ton of push, even though I'm kind of liking it. It's, but I know. It's catchy. It's really fun. But it's not as interesting as a lot of their other stuff has been. It sounds a lot better than Living Things did, I'll tell you that right now. This is quite odd, but from a lyrical perspective here, we're getting some explanation here. He wrote this from his wife's perspective, didn't he? So... tell me what I've got to do. There's no getting through to you. The lights are on, but nobody's home. So, when you're trying to console somebody, really, not knowing that they need to be consoled, maybe. and them kind of not doing the work to maybe help themselves as much, help me help you kind of a deal. Just talking to myself. I may as well be talking to myself because like it's not clocking to that I'm standing on love and care for you, right? No one can have fun anymore. I just said it's fun, but it's just, I'm just trying to make sense of it. And that does seem to be a very Linkin Park thing where they do so many different things in so many of their albums. And I'm like, what the hell? And it's fun to, if comparing is the wrong word, to just find the breadcrumbs of where you've heard those sounds in other projects of them. And you can kind of call that back to see a real evolution in things. You're the only one here that loves Living Things? Maybe. Whoever was there for that reaction, we all kind of collectively shrugged at it. So Big Smoke says that the next two songs you've heard on the radio. Maybe I've heard these next ones. I don't know. Battle Symphony. This is crazy. This isn't a real album.
When they turn down the lights, I hear my battle symphony. All the world in front of me. If my armor breaks, I'll fuse it back together. Battle symphony, please just don't for my battle symphony. For my battle symphony. When they turn down the lights, I hear my battle symphony. All the world in front of me. If my armor from me and my eyes are wide awake. If I fall, get knocked down, pick myself up off the ground. I hear my battle symphony. All the world in front of me. If my armor breaks, I'll fuse it back together. Battle symphony, please just don't
I do think I have to agree with a lot of what people are saying here in chat in terms of reading the lyrics and knowing really what happens, after this at some point, with, the end of Chester Bennington. Let's not, sugarcoat it any more than we have to. I mean, that was the reality. And here just, this is like an optimistic battle song. It's like, bro, if I fall, get knocked down, pick myself up off the ground. It's not about how many times we fall, Master Wayne. About how many times we get back up. I'm going through a lot of feelings right now because obviously, this is supposed to be an optimistic song and you feel a type of way knowing what happens afterward. Maybe look back on it and say maybe this was, maybe an idea that he had long ago and, hopefully he kept up that battle longer than we're seeing right here. And I think if you read any of the lyrics or if you know more about Chester as a person, maybe you've known that this was a long battle for a long time. So in the lyrical sense, this is coming through, I think, a lot better for me compared to maybe some of the other Linkin Park albums, especially maybe the last few that we've reacted to. But that does, I think, stand not necessarily on its own just because we have those preconceived, not even preconceived, but we have that prior information knowing what happens afterward. So it's really looking at the lyrics posthumously, almost. Actually, no, that's exactly what it is. But as far as the composition and how the songs are laid out, this is like Linkin Park trying to corner the coworker music market. It's still Linkin Park. Everything sounds so goddamn good, but it's, dare I say, the most accessible in terms of just consistent, cohesive sound. but they're not doing a ton. There was no reinventing the wheel here. It's still quite novel though. This is the first time they wrote the lyrics first, then made the sound for them. Got you. Okay, that I'm gonna be thinking about that as we continue because I think that's also an important notion here. Somehow it's not possible to disconnect this album from the loss of him, even though every album is lyrically close to him. The immediate connection in time doesn't make it possible, at least not for me, making a huge reason why I rarely listen to this album. I understand that, like, completely. Invisible.
I've got an aching head, echoes and buzzing noises. I know the words we said.
I just dapped up
Wish
Mike.
I could have turned. I was too scared to say out loud. If I could not break your fall, I'll pick you up right off the ground. If you felt invisible, I won't let you feel that now. Invisible, invisible. Your way, and it's an empty feeling. You've got a lot to say. You just wanna know you're being heard. I'm just trying to get it right. And in spite of all I should have done, I was not mad at you. I was not trying to tear you down. Invisible, invisible. This is not black and white.
Okay. All right. This is going to be one of the craziest fucking things I've ever said here on the channel. More often than not, straightforward pop composition. Throw in some synth. Throw in some vocal mods. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've been listening to this album, and this one kind of sealed the deal for me, this is the most like Taylor Swift anything I've heard on the channel outside of Taylor Swift. Like, can anybody else listen to this and picture Taylor singing these lyrics? That's gotta just be me. That's gotta just be me. Please tell me I'm the crazy one here. No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I was not mad at you. I was not trying to tear you down.
Tay would eat the chorus. She would eat the chorus. I'm telling you. This is giving me like maybe Life of a Showgirl Taylor, but not earlier than that. Like, this isn't like, I don't think this is like terribly far off because I think it's a better song, but like I'm getting like why am I thinking about Karma while listening to this fucking song? I'm thinking like just a little bit more poppier Midnights. Linkin Park making poppier Midnight songs. It's not crazier than reading Taylor Swift to an MF Doom beat, and it actually works. Okay, cool. All right, I got a couple of you guys agreeing with me. That's just it. Like, it's they're doing the pop thing, just simple 1-2 in and out. But lyrically here, you know, seems like Mike wrote this for his kid. Maybe he yelled at his kid, or you know, made him feel alone because he's working so much and on the road, and just wants to kind of affirm those feelings for his kid. Good dad, Mike. Yeah, for me here, it was just nice to kind of hear Mike again. And the best part about that Taylor Swift connection, you can't tell me that I'm wrong, because it's me. It's what it reminds me of.
Words that I could have used. I was too scared to say out loud.
Like, I had to check the producer credit because I'm like, those are Jack Antonoff synths. Heavy.
I don't like my mind right now. Stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. Wish that I could slow things down. I wanna let go, but there's comfort in the panic. It's gravity. I'm holding on. Why is everything so heavy? Holding on to so
pretty sure the water's out to get me. It's not like I made the choice, but you keep spinning around me just the same. I'm holding on. Why is everything so heavy? Holding on. Why is everything so heavy?
I know I'm not the center of the universe, but you keep spinning around me just the same.
I know I'm at the center of the universe.
Why is everything so heavy? Holding on. So much more than I can carry. I keep dragging around what's bringing me down. If a chest so heavy, why is everything so heavy?
That'll do it. That'll do that to me. Yeah, again, this is another example of It's Even Sadder, knowing what kind of follows it. Just why is everything so heavy? So much more than I can carry. You know, really kind of ties it up for us just right there in those two lines. Really liking a lot of the features here so far. I mean, we've really only heard the two, right? Technically three. Loved the dueling vocals here on this one. Everything up to this point has sounded incredible on this album, and this one, the drop, into the chorus or after the chorus really hit me quite well. Up until this point, I think probably the most interesting compositionally and vocally. I've loved how the vocals have been mixed this entire album, but Chester's rhythm here is really quite something. It feels like he's kind of channeling Mike. He's kind of doing this rap thing just a little bit. It's not his like normal flow.
I don't like my mind right now, stacking up problems that are so unnecessary.
Like I'm even kind of getting 21 Pilots-ish, like some Tyler Joseph kind of stuff here. I at this point in the album, I'm really quite impressed with what this sound, maybe this simpler kind of pop sound for them, right? It's all relative. It's really bringing out of them, and it's making it feel especially intimate, which I don't know if that was the point. I can't imagine that it wasn't the point. They seem to do things very intentionally with these albums, and I think I can kind of echo some of what other people were saying here. Longtime Linkin Park fans, where this album was really a grower, especially knowing what happens afterward. But even as I'm listening to this, I'm really starting to gain an appreciation for what they're doing, in the sense that it's allowing me to feel a little bit more intimate with the music, more with the voices and ideas that I'm hearing coming out of this. It's standard Linkin Park. We're getting a lot out of not a whole lot of time. This is a sub 3-minute song. And they were able to kind of make this one dense in the same way that, some of the earlier stuff where it was dense to me. So like, this is all just Linkin Park for me right here. I've been able to catch back up. I've been able to hear what the new stuff that they're bringing in, connect it with the old, and then hear that same band that, we all know and love. All right. Well, this album definitely is heavy. I know that last song definitely was in a couple different ways. Let's move on to Sorry for Now.
Watching the wings cut through the clouds.
What the fuck is this?
Watching the ground, there with the fire burning in your eyes. I only halfway apologize, and I'll be sorry for now that I couldn't be around. Sometimes things refuse to go the way we planned. Stand, you will understand.
Tried to call home, but nobody could wake up. Switch your time zones, can't pick the pace up. I just passed out by the time you wake
can't stand. Oh, I'll be sorry for now that I couldn't be around. There will be a day that you will understand. Oh, I'll be sorry for now that I couldn't be around. There are things we have to do that we can't stay
Okay. What the hell was this? Okay, all right. I'm not gonna lie. That goes hard as fuck. That really does. That I love. I've kind of been talking about how everything sounds really good, but compositionally, instrumentally, they're not wooing me to any degree, right? That hasn't been the point of the album. I'm able to compartmentalize that. This is for the lyrics. This is it's giving intimate, so it's not as chaotic. It's allowing me in a little bit more. So that philosophy I'm understanding quite well. What they do here, that pinch harmonic, yeah, which is I believe what it was. It's just it's obviously the guitar. To hit the same pitch as that note would have been if you would have just sang it. Letting the guitar do the talking for you, it does come completely out of left field. Again, why Mike's voice sounds so good. It's not the most amazing voice in the world, but, you know, we've come to know Mike as being like, you know, the hip-hop guy. And he's sang on other songs before. I want to make that very apparent. I do not forget, you know, the times where Mike has sung in the past. But I'm really liking him on this record. Given the whole optimistic thing, you know, at least the sound, right? The sound's kind of optimistic. Like, did they know? Did they know tragedy was around the corner? It was a little maybe shoehorned, the like heavy pop stuff in that breakdown, EDM, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you know, with the Chipmunks. And then towards the end as well, you know, it is just kind of shoehorned in there. But from a band that puts a lot of shit in their production, this is like kind of a crazy track, considering they're putting this in the middle of, well, not a whole lot else going on in terms of crazy production techniques or anything like that. That was the only part I didn't like. It is completely out of left field. It does take you out of the tone that this album has set down so far. So in that sense, if you don't like particularly that part, you know, I completely understand that. I'm just saying that it still sounded pretty cool, especially this. That does a lot for me. It does a lot for me. Is it a little tonally different than everything else? Yes, just a little bit. Not every album has to be revolutionary. No, it does not. All right, so we got Halfway Right.
I scream at myself when there's nobody else to fight. I don't lose, I don't win. If I'm wrong, then that night I woke up driving my car. I couldn't see then what I see right now. The road dissolving like an empty was slow down. I remember, now I remember. All you said to do was slow down, but I was already gone. I scream at myself when there's nobody else to fight. Driving my car, said I'd lose you if all you said to do was slow down. I remember, now I remember. There's nobody else to fight. I don't lose, I don't win. If I'm wrong, then I'm halfway right, halfway right. Scream at myself when there's nobody else to fight. I don't lose, I don't win. If I'm wrong, then I'm halfway right. I don't lose. lose, I don't win. If I'm wrong, then I'm halfway right.
What the fuck? Okay, so I'm usually like an eternal optimist on a lot of things. This whole album, it's some of the most, I don't know if it's the most relatable, but it's definitely the most like accessible songwriting that we've gotten out of them from a long time. At least its ability to convey the message to me, right, the audience. And right now I'm the audience. I mean, so are you guys, but half of you guys have already listened to this record. It's one of those things where I'm really identifying and relating to this song quite a bit, because I think if a lot of people who know me in my own personal life know that I am my own worst enemy and I'm my own biggest critic. I put way too much pressure on myself, and I'm not really one to look for a fight, but I'm like, I see myself in some of this, right? Screaming at myself when there's nobody else to fight. I don't win, I don't lose. If I'm wrong, then I'm halfway right. Like, there's something about like being your own worst enemy and like being your biggest, like your own biggest critic, and having too high of expectations for yourself. And that internal struggle isn't always the best thing. It used to be a lot worse, believe me, right? Actually, I'd say that you guys and doing all this actually kind of helps me a lot with that. It's because if you don't like my video, you just tell me you don't like it. And it's actually really refreshing to see that, instead of just these things in my head where I'm like, oh, that you fucking sucked doing that. Why the fuck are you doing this? That's fucking stupid. Or if I do a stupid thing and people like it, at least something that I thought was stupid, I'm like, oh, no. There wasn't any reason for that. I know that's not exactly what's being said here, but those are things that's kind of that's coming through to me and how I'm interpreting this. If I'm wrong, then I'm halfway right. We joke here on the channel that I'm never wrong. No, I'm not always right, but I'm just never wrong, right? That's a joke. But I mean, if you look at it a little bit more seriously, it also has something to do with like being held accountable. Because if you're just kind of arguing with yourself there, if I'm wrong, then I'm halfway right, I don't know how often I'm going to do this. I'm really going to try and put my foot down, because you guys always ask me to do music videos. I like doing the album. I will make an exception for Chester, because it's right here. Spotify lets me watch the music videos. I didn't know that. Traditionally, I would like to just keep it to the music itself, but people told me a lot about this music video for One More Light. It's kind of a tribute to Chester anyway. If you complain that I'm not looking at the music video after this for any given song and go, oh, you did it for Linkin Park, you did it for Chester, it's fucking Chester. All right, so you shut your fucking mouth. So again, on your end, I'm sorry that it looks like this. This is just the aspect ratio of this up. This is up full screen on my end. So let's just get into it. This is One More Light.
Help you not to hurt anymore. We saw brilliance when the world sky of a million stars, it flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment I do, the reminders pull the floor from your just 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. If they say, who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker, who cares if one more light goes out? Or quicker, who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. Well, I do.
Oh my God. I know this is like right in front of me here. There was another Linkin Park reaction that we did. I do forget which album it was, but I remember getting like especially emotional then. I want to say it was around 1,000 Suns or Minutes to Midnight, because I had started to really grab on to the sounds I was hearing from Linkin Park. And it wasn't just that. It was me starting to get to know the band and figuring out why I like them for the reasons that I like them. Just the absolute treat that Given Up has been to me, right? I think that's really my all-time favorite Linkin Park song. But even before that, in my very first Linkin Park video, I had said that it's not so much that I hate Linkin Park and that I'm not going to ever listen to them, but that I respect them for the sense that the people I love Linkin Park. There are people that I love more than like anything that love the fuck out of this band. And once I had really started liking Linkin Park, that got me really sad. I remember getting teary-eyed kind of explaining that, because I'm liking it so much, but here these people have had a relationship, right, with this music for so long. And I mean, given this album, right, and really all the other songs that Chester's written and has had a hand in writing and performing and helping people feel the things that they wouldn't have been able to feel otherwise and relate to and go, holy fuck, I'm not the only one who feels this way. And that's just, Chester wasn't special in that regard because he's the only person that could do that. That's your favorite musical artist. But it seemed, though, and if you're a Linkin Park fan, you know this, it's different. How they do it, how they go about it is different. And again, we call this album a cry for help. Who cares if just one more light goes out is what Chester says here. Who cares? If we are only just a moment, right? One more light goes out of a sky of stars. Who cares? Well, I do. I think a lot of other people cared quite a bit, and we lost an especially bright light with him. And it was weird because I didn't like Linkin Park, but I remember hearing the news that when he passed, and I went, oh my God, that's crazy. This was supposed to be, our generation's old ass fucking Mick Jagger, or just something like that, just like legends of today. And you want to see them for that 50th anniversary reunion tour, something like that. And it was one of those things where you hear that Chester died and you went, oh, he was that guy. That was just so sweet, seeing him just like really embracing all the fans. And it's not my place to, perhaps talk about what he was going through, but I think we can all agree that if we still had Chester's light, we'd all probably be the better for it. But I don't think we look back on his life now that he's not here without, just other complete admiration or love. So that's what I got to say about this, because otherwise it's just too extremely sad. I don't know how you really continue after that, if I'm being completely honest with you. I've given up. Well, hopefully we can all stand strong and finish this one out. This is, the last song for the Chester run of Linkin Park. So let's get to it. This is Sharp Edges.
Mama always told me, don't you run with scissors, son. I guess that I had to find out for myself. Sharp edges have consequences now. Every scar is a story I can tell. Should've played it safer from the start. Loved you like a house of cards and let it fall apart. But all the things I couldn't understand, I could stay along the beaten path. I never listened when she said sharp edges have consequences. I guess that I had to find out for myself. To kill us makes us stronger. Ooh, 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 ooh. Stay along the beaten path.
said sharp edges have consequences. I guess that I had to find out for myself. Sharp edges have consequences now. Every scar is a
So after that last song, just given that this had like a nice fun beat to it, really needed that. Really needed that. Even though it's still like sad as fuck. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So maybe puffing his chest up a little bit there. You know, I mean, obviously this is just the end of the album. I don't know what kind of headspace or when, you know, he wrote this or got the lyrics together for this one. You know, it's, you know, try to stay battle hardened. That's what it is here over the stomp clap beat. We couldn't even get Linkin Park away from stomp clap in the 2010s, ladies and gentlemen. I did just make a video about this, right? Go ahead and check that out. I didn't mention Linkin Park specifically, but this was rampant, this sound. Maybe a little later, and maybe a little weird coming out of Linkin Park, but it sounds good nonetheless. Still very true in the sense this is like probably their most melodic album as a whole, right? Back up a little bit. In a weird way, this is almost like the best way to maybe end the Chester run, knowing what happened. You know, ultimately, this is like one last like, hey, like, you know, hold your head up. We learn what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. You're gonna fall down. You're gonna keep moving on. Quit being a little bitch. No, they're not saying that. This is like one more like, you'll be fine. Just press on. Keep calm and press on. I don't know about the best. It's just what we have. I guess I'm trying to rationalize it a little bit as far as like being the last song. I do feel as though that's I mean, obviously one more light should have been, but that would have just been too spooky. I mean, one of the most emotional records we've listened to. And I think that even stands out from, you know, knowing what happens after that, right? So a lot of the time, you know, I do try and just look at the album for what it is. Sure, like I might compare it to another artist or band's work that came before or even afterward, right? Just to try and make sense out of it, to maybe see an evolution or something like that. But here it is really hard to just look at the music without thinking about or recognizing what happens after that, you know, with, you know, Chester's fate, for lack of a better term. Because without it, though, this is Linkin Park's most intimate album. In its songwriting, in its production for the most part, for the compositions, it's really just trying to get those ideas across. I think we get a little bit more in familiar territory with Heavy and Sorry for Now. Sorry for Now definitely so tonally different. Maybe not so totally different, but tonally different enough to where it definitely screams to be like the bop, I guess. You know, in a mix of a lot of these songs that otherwise kind of sounded like stripped down club remixes of Linkin Park songs, or, you know, they're featured on somebody else's pop album. But this is really a through and through pop album from Linkin Park. And knowing that they are an album band, I can appreciate that, considering the depths of sorrow that a lot of the themes go into, with it still sounding optimistic. Either call it irony, call it just being dynamic. So Melissa here in the chat puts out some pretty cool ideas. That there's a lot of production elements on this album that they explore, come back in little ways and from zero, which I would like to eventually look at, and I'd really be interested to see how they kind of evolve that. We should be listening to that album soon, so do not worry on that. You know, if it didn't need to get more intimate, you know, the stomp clap thing with Sharp Edges kind of sends it home. When I say stomp clap, right, just this 2000s indie folk, Mumford & Sons, Lumineers kind of a thing where, you know, you just get a kick drum and you're fine, right? Whistle a little bit on top of it. Really appreciated the features here. Like I said, I think Heavy stands pretty strongly as one of my favorites off this record. Good Goodbye with Pusha T and Stormzy as one of my favorite Mike rap tracks. I think, I don't know, he was feeling himself on this record. Mike, round of applause for fucking Mike. You know, what a turnaround that I've come around to Mike so fucking much. here on the channel, and I really appreciated his contributions to this. You know, would I have liked to see a little bit more chaos in the album outside of Sorry For Now and Heavy? Yeah, but you know, these guys are total fucking pros. This album, for as simple as the compositions were, everything sounded so fucking good. The vocal, I think it's one of the cleanest vocal albums that they've had. God fucking damn it. I'm just thinking, like, I would have loved to have gotten so much more out of that from Chester. You know what I mean? That's I think that's going to be one of the things that sticks with me with this album in particular. Is it's almost selfish in a way because I'm left wanting more, and he's already given us so much. You know what I mean? And I haven't loved every single Linkin Park album, but from what I like, I've really come around to loving a lot. And especially hearing this, it's a pop album. Maybe they could have done something that's a little bit more hybrid, you know, no pun intended, between pop and, like, you know, nu metal even, you know, and really gone back early enough to kind of fuse those two sounds together. Who knows what could have happened? Who knows what could have happened? But this is what we got. I guess I'll leave it at this. I'm so glad that the band took their time to mourn and to figure it out, and I'm so glad that they got the show back on the road. You know, it's like the old saying goes, the show must go on. Sometimes it doesn't need to, but sometimes it does. And from all the singles that I've heard off of From Zero and, you know, with the new vocalist Emily, I have liked a lot of it, but you know, knowing them, they're an album band. I'd love to dive into those themes, and I think it'd be really the Band-Aid that I think I need right now, because I might not be showing it, but I'm very sad at the moment. You know, I want From Zero to just be like this triumphant, like, I lived, bitch. This is the boys, right? This is all of us. This is all of us carrying on Chester's legacy. We're going to do it for Chester. We're going to push on. Because I didn't know Chester. You probably didn't know Chester. But maybe that's exactly what Chester wanted. When LP came back, Mike said, and filling in for Chester Bennington, all of... Just to finish what Melissa said here. When LP came back, Mike said, and filling in for Chester Bennington, all of you. That's exactly how it feels at their shows when they're all singing along. Oh my God. Oh, stop. Chester gave his light to keep thousands shining, and millions of us always carry that light in our hearts and our souls. I can't cry. I'm a professional communicator. Fuck. So that was my review of One More Light, the last Chester Bennington Linkin Park album. That was pretty emotionally taxing. I didn't cry outright, but I almost got there without, like, full-on crying. And then that little thing about all of us filling in for Chester was just a little bit too much, so I gotta end it here. Please do let me know your thoughts on my thoughts. I'm so excited to finally get to From Zero and finally catch up on Linkin Park. That will be happening. So like I said, this is December 2025. This time next month, we'll be reacting to From Zero. It's up for a Grammy this year. So I think that's just perfect timing because I missed out on getting that album when it was fresh and new. I didn't want to skip all the other albums that we needed to do from Linkin Park. So again, just let me know your thoughts on my thoughts. Thank you for being here. Please go ahead and like the video if you liked it. Please dislike it if you hated it. I want you to be honest with me. I can take it. And if you love seeing me, you know, do things that you hate, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to see us live, go ahead and click one of the links out in the description. On my Patreon, which is also linked down in my description, for just $1, you can see this reaction, all the other reactions that I've done, and probably all the reactions that I have coming forward, unless I change the price, but I'll let you know. But just for $1. But with all that said, I've been Jerry Bees. You've been awesome. Take it easy.
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog.